Hi, how you doing? This is James JAC Shop. I'm here again with the 1995 Chevrolet pickup truck, and I'm actually already rolled it around to where she was top dead center. I went ahead and cleaned the whole manifold. I'll show you the manifold here. I went ahead and cleaned it up, made sure that I got her all cleaned up so that nothing goes down inside. Then I made sure, I don't know if you can see that or not, but I went ahead and brought it around to where my timing mark was on 4 degrees. And then back here, I marked my distributor. When I pulled my distributor out, I made sure I marked it on the manifold with some paint. That's actually a welding paint, a paint pen. They work really well. I go up to Tractor Store and buy these. It's actually use them for welding, and it's a paint pen. Great for marking stuff, especially where it's in a situation where it's in a greasy situation, so it'll be there forever. I clean it, mark it, and it'll be there pretty much for a long time. So basically I got all the bolts out, and I don't usually do this. I did this for display for everybody. So I mean, you get an idea of what you can do, so you can keep track of your bolts off your intake manifold, because of course you do have different types of bolts on the intake, and sometimes they're different lengths. So sometimes what I'll do is take a sheet of cardboard and I'll put on the front here. I'll mark front, and whatever works best for you, you can and stick your brackets on there if you want. You can do however you want to do to keep track of it, but that's the best. You know, it's just a good idea to keep track of where all your bolts go, because some engines have longer and shorter bolts, as well as having different bolts where things bolt to. Once the bolt is in and the fastener is torqued down to spec, which is 35 foot-pounds, you want to put all your brackets for your AC support brackets basically go to a lot of these individual bolts. And so you make sure you get all that right back where it was. And also, if you put the bracket with it, it also tells you when you put that bolt in that it has to go through that bracket, or that bracket goes over it, and then that's go on it. So I mean, you got to look at it and make sure. But like this one here is torqued through the bracket. These ones actually go on the other side of it. So the bolts will go on, be torqued, and then this bracket goes on the opposite side. Then of course I took a video before I start taking it apart. It's always a good idea to do that. And like I said, I went ahead and I got my mark where I want it. I did go ahead and bring it up to top dead center. Pulled the distributor out, got all this loose. When you go to take it the rest of the way, basically you know you've got all your bolts out and everything else is clear and free, and all the dirt's cleaned up so that nothing drops down in the engine. Basically what I do is I take my good old pry bar right here. You want to make sure that you don't get into anything as far as you don't want to put anything up against the valve cover, because you'll bend it and destroy it. You don't want to do that. You don't want to try to stick something between this surface, because if you try to get something between that surface, what's going to happen is you're going to end up destroying the surfaces, and it's not going to seal again. So you want to make sure that you do this right. What I do is I always leave a couple bolts in. I've got this big bracket right here. You just come down, go just like that, lift it up. You see I got her free. just like that. Just pop it free. Remember, it's aluminum, you know, so you don't want to screw it up. You don't want to mess it up by forcing anything. So work with it lightly. Nice pry bar. Of course, mine's a huge pry bar, but that doesn't mean you have to use the used one. That's just the one that was easiest for me to grab, and it's the one I had. And if you need to, you can kind of tap around the edge a little bit, but this is an excessively big dead blow. You really, you know, I didn't even have to use the dead blow. I brought it just in case, because sometimes they're a little stubborn. Like I said, I got it free. Now I can move all my stuff out of the way. I'm going to find me a spot to put it. Along the way, we were talking, when on the first video, I was talking about all the other stuff that happens along the way that you end up having to fix in the end. One of the things I noticed, my temperature gauge right here, temperature sender, is broke. You can see it snapped right off there. Let's see if I can get it in the shot here. Right there. It broke off. It's not a big deal. It's old plastic, and what happens is that plastic gets brittle and it breaks off. So there's not really a whole lot you can do about it. Stuff is going to happen. If you notice in the bag, when I started taking that coolant fitting out, like this one in the front, I pulled it out. Remember, I had said I was going to change those. When you pull them out, they're not always fun. That was the original one with this vehicle from 1995, and of course it broke off. So now I'm going to get that out of the intake manifold. When I get the intake manifold off and I clean everything, that's just going to be something that I'm going to have to fix. But it's alright, it's not a big deal. Don't panic, you know. They're really easy to get out of there. You could take an easy out if you wanted to do it, or you could drill it out and retap it, however you want to do it. But just be careful, you know, not to overdo it. You want to make it concentric, like not, you know, don't wallow the hole out and not be able to fix it, you know, because that's going to mess it up. But usually I can get easy out of something right in there and get that out. No problem at all. And it's just like pot metal. It's real cheap, so it breaks real easy. Basically, I put the wrench on there and turned, and it just snapped right off. So there's nothing I could do. The other one came out perfect. I am going to change these. You can see in there, inside of there, I don't know whether you can see it or not, but there is an O-ring in there. Let's see if I can turn it toward the sun a little. Maybe get some sun on it. I'll take my word on it. There's an O-ring in there. That plastic thing goes in and locks on the lip and holds that pipe down on that O-ring. So anytime you're taking something like this apart, you're either going to get new, because you want a new O-ring, new seal. You don't want to stick stick it back in there and think it's going to seal, because it's not going to. They have a tendency to leak anyway, which is why I'm going to go to a direct system where it doesn't have that quick change. Just a clamp and a hose. Alright, that's where I'm at with it. And I'm going to be lifting this intake manifold off of here. So, let me see if I can find a place to sit you up, so you can kind of eyeball that coming off there. Seems like I have a lot of action in the neighborhood today. Somebody's banging things and all kinds of stuff going on. I'm not sure. Kind of got me curious. Okay, I think I'm going to take my t-shirt out of there now. I don't really have to worry about getting water in there anymore because it's cleaned and done. I do have a couple of bolts here. This is a little bit difficult with one hand. I'm kind of a one-hand by myself doing this. I've already got the bolts loose on this thermostat, so I really don't want to drop the thermostat, but there we go. I'm going to lift that up. Try not to drip any water in there as least as possible, fuel or anything else. And there you have it. The intake removed. Gonna definitely have to do a little more cleaning. Looks like we're definitely gonna need a thermostat sender, temperature sender. And we're gonna have to drill and tap that hole and fix that. So, not a problem. All in today. Let me stick it over here. Now let's take a look and see what we got up here. I drained all of the fluid that I could, and I can actually show you where it failed. I can see several places right here in the front. See the gaskets that was leaking. She was leaking down in there. But never mind, we're gonna change it, fix it, and back we go, back together. Got to do a lot of cleaning. Got to scrape down this gasket back here. You'll see the pretty much all came right off in my hand. Gonna do the front the same. Looks like a lot of it came off with the intake manifold. But all stuff you buy good RTV, don't go cheap. The GM Gray is a very good RTV that they use. It comes in a big tube, so you can use that. That's usually the best to use. I have some black RTV. It's good for this too. I think I'm going to go with the gray. I'm going to buy me a bottle of the tube of the gray. Alright, so this is JAC Shop. Like and subscribe. This right here, actually, let me hang on a minute. When I said earlier, purple stuff, it's purple. It's called Purple Power. And it's pretty good for cleaning the top of your engine and everything, and your oily parts in your engine. You want to make sure you do not get it in that bad boy right there, that alternator. That is not good. I repeat, not good for bearings and alternators, starters, compressors. So do not get it, because it is a pretty serious cleaner. It cuts right through grease, but you definitely don't want to get it on your alternator. It'll eat the bearings right out of it. In a month time, you'll be changing your alternator. So this is JAC Shop. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe.